All right, y'all. Welcome to Reading, Writing, and Rain. This is a podcast about books, writing, and my writer's journey. I am your host, Rhayne Coleman, and you can follow me on Twitter at Coleman Rain, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Reading, Writing, Rain. And when listening to this podcast, please feel free to use the hashtag RWRPod. That is to share your thoughts, opinions, answer any questions. You got any questions for me? Anything podcast related, anything brought up in the podcast. Let's make this a conversation. Thank you all for joining me back here again for Reading, Writing, and Rain. And let's get into this episode, man. Let's we got some stuff to discuss. All right, so getting right to it. Camp, plotting novels, and writing habits. So last episode I went over a missing draft, a lost draft, a draft that I was thousands of words into that mysteriously, miraculously, howeverlessly disappeared. Since then, I have licked my wounds, I've pulled myself up by my bootstraps, and I've dived right back into that draft. So I started doing Camp Nano vlogs, did those in addition to participating in Camp NaNo for April of 2022 to keep myself accountable. So when I lost that original draft, I was heartbroken, sure, but I got over it, and I got over it so quickly, and that was a little strange to me because I, for one, am very what Erica say. I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. That is absolutely correct. I had this have been me in the past, year, 2 years, 3 years, I probably would have had a nervous breakdown losing that draft, but I didn't. Check all that, the previous conversation in episode 7. So with this one, and for camp, um, not set aside, I came up with a plan of what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be at the end of camp. And I will say I lost camp, but I won camp. So I didn't meet the goal that I wanted, but by setting that goal, using the vlogs, which are on the YouTube channel, you can check those out, linked in the show notes or whatnot. But by going through setting that goal and kind of powering through, I got so much more done. So yeah, I didn't finish, and that's upsetting. But the amount of work that I put into this manuscript work in progress is freaking mind blowing, especially because there was a time very recently in the last couple of years where I could not write. I could not bring myself to write, whether it be mental blocks, just me making excuses, or whatever the case may be. Like I I put dents in this WIP. And funny enough, I for everything I lost, I made up for and then some, and the story has moved a bunch of different places. And I don't know, I'm just so happy for that. I'm not done. I'm still working on my work in progress, but I've gotten so much done, and camp is what it is. I'll go into a little bit more detail in my wrap up Camp Nano vlog. That should be coming down the pipeline in the next week, I think. On the YouTube channel, Reading, Writing, and Rain. Please subscribe there. Yeah, let's do that. If you have not, subscribe, and let me know. Let me know. Did you win camp for April of 2022? Did you win camp? Let me know in the comments on YouTube. Let me know on social media. I'd like to know how many of you guys participated and then how many of you won. And if you didn't win, you're in good company because I didn't either. Now, moving right along, I want to get into plotting novels, and a lot of this ties into camp and that missing lost draft and me making up for the time lost. So, I am one, and I think I mentioned this before. I grew up a pantser, just writing stories, telling stories, 70-page notebooks, sketchbooks, like whatever it was. If I got my hands on a pen, a pencil, and a piece of paper, I was writing a story. And recently, in the last few years, I've been writing outlines. Now, that isn't to say that I have not used an outline in the past, but in the past, it was more or less like, oh, what do I want to happen? Maybe this. Maybe there's a party. Maybe there's a fight. Never really wrote with the end in mind, just wrote off vibes. But this go round, I've committed myself to looking at things like Save the Cat Writes a Novel, The Emotional Thesaurus, Robert McKee's story, structure, substance, style, principles of screenwriting, things of that nature. Stuff that I feel if I'm going to take this seriously and make this a profession, I should probably be a little bit more familiar with, even if it's not things that I'm going to use. It's always easier to break the rules when you know what the rules are. I want to just be willy nilly doing stuff when you know there's assistance there. You don't have to, recreate the wheel. That being said, what I'm realizing with this particular draft specifically, this draft is the second story in a series that I'm still deciding if it's going to be a duet or a trilogy. It is a contemporary fiction, black, heavy black, blackness, blackity, black people with heavy romance elements. Again, I say heavy romance elements because I don't think my story individually follows that romance rule of having to be a happy ever after or happy for now, but the series as a whole does follow those romance conventions at the time of this recording. So the first book is already done. It's with the editor now. The second book is the one I've been working on for camp and the one I've been working on for this year. Now, when I lost that draft and went back and rewrote it, it was pretty easy, as far as I knew what was happening. I could get the words and thoughts out. And one thing I realized is that though I did go through and make a full outline, I know exactly how this story ends. The Panther side of me is like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So I've got the blueprint there, but that Panther side of me is like, nah, we give me space to take over. So I wrote a complete outline that's set in stone, but there's also different points in the story, like I'm going to get from point A to point B to C, D, E, and whatnot. Those points are fixed. Like those are things that have to happen. But the road to getting to those points, I have allowed my pantser side to kind of take reins, take over, and do what it's going to do. And I'm finding that that's working for me. So this is another part of my writer's journey that I absolutely freaking love is discovering things about myself and about my writing self and about this process that I probably have known but haven't put words to. And I absolutely love that. So I know that outlines work for me because they keep me on task. Because, let me just pants it and you're going to get a romance novel that's 178,000 words long and with no, I ain't gonna no apologies, but having that outline and knowing that I have a point I'm getting to has really helped to give that pantser side more freedom. Because before I would just write, whatever, it was just vibes, whatever I thought should happen should happen. But now knowing that I'm getting to a point, it's allowing me to say, okay, this character is here. I know they have to end up here at this point. How do I make that more interesting? Versus, oh, well, let me just write, Trevor, and then let's just see what Trevor does. And then Trevor ends up going on a trip, going on a cruise, getting in a knife fight, and making it to his daughter's graduation. But then it's like, what was the point of that? It's so being an outliner planner is helping me to nail down those fixed points, but it's also helping me to let my creativity flow. And one um, argument, pushback, issue that I've heard constantly when it comes to people who are like, I don't want to be a plotter. I just want to do whatever because you're not able to be as creative and this and that. And I used to hear people say, "Oh no, you could be creative such and such," and of course I believed it because you can a creative can find a way out of no way. But like going through this process has truly shown me firsthand that no, you absolutely can be freaking creative. Like just because you have the story down on paper or the bones of it does not take away from any creative input that you have. In my case, it's only strengthened that part of me, and so I'm in love with that. I'm in love with the plot pants, sirs. So, getting into this story without giving too many spoilers, this is pretty much a continuation of the first installment. This story picks up 2 months, a month to 2 months at the time of this recording, a month to 2 months after the events of the end of book one. And it's kind of shaking up the status quo. And I'm hoping that whatever your feelings are for the characters in the first installment, that you can ride with me through the second one, because things do get shooken up quite a bit. I am having so much fun writing this draft that it truly feels like that saying, like, do what you love and you never work a day in your life. This is so fun. Even the frustrating parts where it's like, what the hell is happening? It is so fun. It's fun. It's fun, like discovering, like I'm rediscovering my love for writing. I've always loved it, but like having this time off in the last few years where I was trying to figure out, like, where do I want to go with this? Yes, I enjoy it and I can do it, but like what's the end game? And I would even say taking my life and this as a career and plotting it out, making that outline. Okay, I want to be here, I want to be there, I want to do this. These are those fixed points, much like in my stories. And then having that Panther side come in, like, okay, we have 4 or 5 different ways to get to this point. Let's try them all, or let's put all of these in order in a way that makes sense for you, your personality, your creativity, all that. It's like, I hate to sound cliche or whatnot, but I'm plotting and pantsing my career as a writer, as an author. And that is, man, that is so, it's so thrilling. Like I feel like a kid again at school, kindergarten, first grade, middle school, high school for the first time. Again, like this excitement of, dang, this is new. This is new and it's unknown. And I might have a plan, but, this could go left at any time and I'll have to pivot. And like, what does that look like for me? How do I stay on track? Um, I'm enjoying it. And I have to say, huge shout out to Book Talk, Black Book Talk specifically. I am enjoying it over there. I forget which episode it was of the podcast, but I mentioned how I started off following a lot of folks on YouTube, getting like writer advice and following other people's writer's journey, and they were great, but I didn't see myself and my culture in these creatives. And it's nothing against them or taken away from them, because they've done a amazing, phenomenal job at getting their points across and, educating and entertaining. But like when I got to Book Talk, black women galore, black men, black queer people, black disabled people, black people of marginalized experience who are just living in their dang on cultures, the people who I can freaking relate to, giving me like a plethora of like just new stuff. So in particular, I do want to focus on book talk and the urban and urban romance novels. Like that is something that I've been reading those types of books my whole life, but the amount of love that genre style of book gets over there is like unmatched. And I am so, oh my God, I don't know, it's just, y'all, I'm truly like, I don't know, gushing, because it's cool. I like to go to be able to log onto that app and see a video from a motherfucker who is like, hey, this is my work in progress, this where I'm at with this. Like being able to follow the writer's journey of other people who are of my community or very adjacent. We don't have the same exact life, but they are very similar, if not, the same. And I'm just learning so much. I'm taking in so much. I'm sharing this space with some phenomenal folks, and I'm grateful that it exists. Like out of all of the mess and controversy surrounding that app in particular, being able to find that little slice of community it's so dope. It's so dope. And like I'm growing over there slowly but surely, the little engine that could, and I'm just enjoying the ride. That's another thing, as it pertains to the writing and writing habits and writing as a muscle. I am truly enjoying the writing process. So it's not to say I didn't enjoy it before, but that's to say to sit down with intention and write on a daily basis, to flex that writing muscle, to do it every day, where even if I don't want to, I'm logging something. If it's not actual words in the work in progress, it is something with the outline. It's researching something for a character. It's reading and reviewing some of the previous chapters, going through that first manuscript and like looking for certain key details that, of course, continuity wise, you want to keep in the second book. It's planning out and plotting novellas that are in this same universe. It's, working on a newsletter. It's like every day I'm touching this project. Even if I'm not in the manuscript logging these words, I'm touching this project. And that is like, that's worth the price of admission. Like, y'all. This is pretty much a gushing episode. Oh, I love this so much. Follow me on this journey. But no, seriously, follow me. Follow me on TikTok, Reading, Writing, and Rain, and let's, connect with me. If you got a work in progress, you got some stuff going on, some challenges. There's currently a 777 challenge going on where you're tagged and you read go to the seventh, is it seventh page? Seventh paragraph, seventh line, or seventh chapter, something like that. But you get to that seventh, and at that point, you read that line. And I haven't been tagged in it, but I don't need to be tagged. I'm gonna do the challenge anyways. But I just yeah, little stuff like that, man. I've found so many books I want to read. Those of you who've seen the YouTube vlogs, the camp vlogs, you can see like my bookshelf is like stacked to the brim. Like I need to go through and do like a deep clean and figure out like what I'm giving away, what I'm keeping. Do I get another bookshelf? Like IKEA, Target be damned. I'm going to have to add another bookshelf, if not two or three, because between my comics, graphic novels, prose books, I don't know, I'm overdue. Like, and that ain't even my whole collection that you see in the videos. Like, yeah, I'm a hoarder of literature. A hoarder of literature. So tell me this, y'all. When it comes to writing, authors out there, are you a plotter or are you a pantser or are you a hybrid of both? And how is that going for you? If it's both, if my experience is like normal commonplace, let me know. Or if it's something like, no, I stick to one and I stick to the other, and that's that. Because I want to know. I want to know, what is your writing habits? Are you a plotter? Are you a pantser? Are you a hybrid writer? So yeah, getting to flexing that muscle, that writing muscle. I mentioned on TikTok, and I think in the third Camp Nano vlog, which is on the YouTube channel. I think on there I did. I mentioned that I logged a 10K day. So 10K days have been sitting on the back of my mind forever and a day. Like I've been silently like trying to get to one, but like kind of not saying it out loud, being like, if I just do it, and then I'll go and brag about it. And I've even mentioned on Twitter, I do a lot of logging my word counts to like again keep myself accountable. Um, but this one time in particular was not even thinking about word count, and I had gotten to the point in the manuscript, the draft, where I had initially lost that entire first draft. I gotten to that point and I gotten past it, and that's when I start writing. And I was on the clock, at the 9 to 5, working at the pyramid tonight, and I was, logging words. But I was doing this in between projects, just here and there, typing a little bit, this and that, had a little bit of a break, had a little bit of downtime. And when I like clocked out for the day, I kind of, I don't know, something was like, whatever. I looked at my word count and it was like 8,486, something like that, or 83 or something like that. And I did the math because I logged my words for the day, and of course, I have the entire word count for the manuscript. But I logged the words, did the math 2 or 3 times. I was like, okay, wait a minute, maybe I'm doing this wrong. There's no way that I just wrote damn near 9,000 words. And I still had like the entire evening where I had my scheduled writing time for post work. I hit 10K plus that day, and like that was a milestone. It was something that just happened by me just doing the work. And again, not to be cliche, but like though you may have goals in mind, have them in mind, write them down, be aware and conscious of them. But writing a goal down does not accomplish the goal like putting in the work. I can say I want to lose 10 pounds, but if I'm just saying that every single day or writing that every single day and I'm not putting in the work, them 10 pounds are going to be a little bit slow to lose. And so I hit that 10K by accident. And so that's what I'm shooting for. Not necessarily word count, but more or less like having a goal. I want to get to the end. I have a certain word count that I have in mind. I don't beat myself up if I don't make it there because I am putting in words, time, and energy into this book every single day in some capacity. Now, at the time of this recording, I just came off of a project, logging some words for that, but I ain't really touched the manuscript like I'm supposed to. And I'm going to change that. Man, this has been fun. This has been exciting getting back to the innocent, curious wonder of like getting words on a page, breathing life into stories that are in my head just banging around and trying to get them out so other people can critique me, can find joy in these stories as well and love these characters just as much, if not more, than I do. All right, now switching gears a bit, let's get into what I'm reading. So I have two books that are near and dear, up there and whatnot. First one is Stages by Lamar Neal. He's a fellow book talker. He is a contemporary romance author. Stages is a contemporary romance about two people in their not so typical love story. Hendrix, a college senior, lives with his terminally ill dad. Victoria is a young wife and mother in a failing marriage. And so I just recently received that book from him. Please follow Lamar Neal on TikTok as well. And then I'm also reading the Atlas Six: fantasy fiction, contemporary fantasy, urban fantasy, dark fantasy, paranormal fiction, all that good stuff. And this is by Olive Blake. Now, this is a very interesting story. I'll probably do a whole video devoted to this. Um, I saw mixed reviews. I've looked at some reviews from different people on YouTube. I my feelings about the story or the book actually changed rather quickly. I don't know. Like at the beginning of the story, I felt one way because of the writing, and then I felt a different way a little bit later. I will say I'm consuming Stages with the physical paperback, and I'm consuming Atlas 6 as an audiobook. And with it being six different points of view, there are six different narrators. And that is interesting as well. I have thoughts on that, so please stay tuned for the YouTube's video on those. While we're discussing it, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube Reading, Writing, and Rain. Go ahead and subscribe. It ain't gonna hurt you. Just go on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Um, and let me know, what are you reading? What are you currently reading? What books are you reading? What books should I take a look at? Summer's coming here, fast approaching. June is Juneteenth is in the June. It's also Pride Month, so there's going to be a bunch of pandering by lots of different corporations. But if you do have any reads that are black, and black and queer, LGBTQAI plus, all that good stuff, let me know. Be it a comic book, a graphic novel, a prose book, a novella, short story, or any authors of that community that have books out, even if those books are not specifically Pride related, but they're by those black and brown folks in that community, let me know. So, yeah, man, y'all, it's thank you. Thank you for joining me on this ride. Catch me at all the social medias, those will be linked below. And again, let me know, did you guys win camp if you participated? And are you a plotter? Are you a pantser? Are you a hybrid? of the two? I'd like to know. Use that hashtag RWRpod. And catch me on the next episode, man. This is fun. I'm getting back into doing things on the regular bi-weekly schedule because y'all already know how it is. But this has been episode 8. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Go on off, read something, write something, and come back and tell me, Rhayne